Good morning.
Getting up today was hard. Real fucking hard. Anyway, here's the intro. Yep. Today was difficult. I have to say, I'm not gonna lie, it was real fucking hard getting up this morning. But anyway, good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing? Here we are, day 2 of Mindset Mornings. Can you believe we made it to day 2? And I'm gonna say the same thing when we get to day 3, which will be, let me think, tomorrow. Yes. How's everyone doing? Well, yesterday, I have to tell you, if I had the round of applause button and I haven't set it up yet, I would hit it because yesterday I completed my dresser. It is now completely up, ready to go, built, all that stuff. So that's the weight off my mind. I'm glad that shit is finally fucking over. Building stuff is a nightmare, as you know. You know what the hardest part was, though? Building the structure and everything. I mean, that was a pain in the ass, but it wasn't that bad. The hardest part was building the fucking drawer. Well, no, let me take that back. Building the drawers was not hard. It was just really fucking tedious. Like, incredibly tedious. I bought a fairly large dresser, fairly substantial. And it has 8 drawers in it. So I had to build 8 separate drawers and then put them all in. So yeah, fun times. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Good morning. Let's do Arnold.
Good morning. How are you?
There you go. Very good. Hopefully you're doing great. Hopefully you got. I hope Monday was not too much of a drag for you. If you had work and all that stuff. I'm just gonna take a sip of coffee if that's okay. I got to be really careful because if this spills, it'll be a fucking nightmare. Oh, yes. I needed that. Okay. We're going to check out who's in the chat in a minute and see what everyone's on about. We're going to I shaved, by the way. You see that? Look at this. I say, yes, I look 10 years younger. And then but before we do that, as I think is going to become customary on Mindset Mornings, to get the blood pumping, the heart racing, the eyeballs open, and the brain sparking, is to get some Mark going, because we need to wake up. So let's wake up.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
Hey, there we go. We all fully awake now? You should be. You should be like, I'm awake. Let's see who's in the chat, and we'll see what's going on out there. We got Gary Newman in the chat. I wonder if he's calling from his car. Punches Couches is in the house with. I don't have it set up yet, but I can do it. Bars. Luke White is here. Hello, Luke. Karen Hoyle. Rick Horton says, happy day. I'm going to have to pull that clip from Children of the Stone so I can play that. Happy day. Maybe I'll do that for tomorrow. We got Firechild UK. Hello, Chris. All right, mate. How you doing? Fantastic. Then we got someone called the YouTube Referee who says, 10 minutes is a long intro for my attention span. So I'm assuming if that's the case, you are long gone. Let's see. Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Ryan Standard's Crazy Life. What up, Ryan? How you doing, man? Good to see you here. Glad you could swing by. Christy Moreland. Hello, Christy. Who else is in here? Debbie Joe. Hello, Debbie. Nice to see you. Paul Melton says, Good day from Cambridge. Yes. And Christy says, good day from Belfast. What else we got here? We get Sunshine Dragon says, does this Alan Wicca. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Oh, everyone. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. This is a crazy name. 161157 Gore says, bookcase is looking great. Well, why, thank you. 161157 Gore. That is a great name. It's like THX 1138. Anyone get that reference? Anyone? So let me know in the chat if you know what I'm talking about when I say THX 1138. And then we got, of course, Mr. Barry Crump. Barry says, should I do Barry's voice? Should I try? Good morning, Gareth. I didn't get the notification for the start of the show, despite have the reminder selected. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, Barry. That is a bit weird. When did I publish the... I think I put this up... I'm trying to think what time it was. It was yesterday morning, because when I finished the show yesterday, finished this show, I had a little lie down. And I kind of dozed off for like an hour or so, and then I came back and I published this week's edition of the Mindset Podcast, which I'm hoping you've all snagged and are now consuming and enjoying. The Mindset Podcast this week that went out yesterday, and right after I published the Mindset Podcast is when I went to then I did the graphic and everything for today's show and threw it up on the internet. So it's been up there for, I don't know, a good like 18-20 hours, I'm guessing. But what I'll try and do, maybe this will be better, is maybe today what I'll do is I'll line them all up instead of doing like, doing Tuesdays on Mondays, Wednesdays on Tuesday, and so on. I'll try and do the whole week at once and just like throw them all out there. So I have to be busy creating graphics and stuff to get that, but that's no problem. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy racking my brain like, what can I call this week's episode? What kind of picture can I put in there? Should I make a funny face? Thumbnail. But we'll see. We'll figure it out. We'll get it going. But I'm sorry to hear that, Barry. Hopefully the next time I do it, it'll be good. Oh, YouTube referee is still sticking around, even though he found the show boring. He says, I'd never lose sleep over YouTube. Well, apparently you are. Well, depending on where you are in the world. I mean, if you're in the west coast of the United States, where it's 9 minutes past 6, and you're watching me on YouTube, you are losing sleep. But if you're in another part of the world where it's like middle of the day or something, then maybe not. But maybe your natural state is sleeping. And watching YouTube, you are losing sleep. Just saying. Debbie Joe is in the house. Hello, Debbie. B is in the house. B is here. And B says, smiley face. Let's see. YouTube referee is still yapping his nonsense. He says, how long can you milk a cow before it dies? This guy's pearls of wisdom. He's obviously a fucking genius. Let's see. B, Luke White. I mentioned Luke White. Barry Crump is mentioning my furniture. Barry says, DIY and self-assembly furniture can be a right of a job sometimes. It always takes longer than expected, and you often end up sweating your box off while doing it. A bit like, whoa, hey, I'm not going to go there, Barry, but I get the sentiment. Very good. Who else is there? Let's see if anyone else. Sublime Exploration. He says, top of the morning, Gareth. There you go. Thank you, Sublime. Gary says he's in his flat. He's in his flat, drinking coffee from a mug. Great stuff, Gary. And what a coincidence. Hey, what a coincidence, hey? First cup of coffee of the day. Well, actually, only cup of coffee of the day for me, unfortunately. Or fortunately, whichever way you look at it. I think I told you yesterday, I only ever drink coffee once. And that's first thing in the morning. After that, that's it. After that's all beer. No. After that, I just drink water all day. In fact, when you think about it, there's so many options to drink stuff. You know, the soda, Coke, fucking Dr. Pepper, milkshakes, milk, all that stuff. There's only 3 things I really drink. That's coffee, water, and beer. And that's usually only on the weekends. So that's it. So I have a cup of coffee in the morning, then I'm guzzling gallons of water throughout the day, and then on the weekends I guzzle gallons of beer. Laura Melt 77 has arrived. She says raid from Creaky Dragon Nation. I don't know what that means, but nevertheless, it's just morning, Gareth. Good morning, Laura. How are you? I think we need Arnie to say good morning to Laura.
Good morning.
There you go. Simon B.A. is here. Creepy Dragon Nation, Creepy Dragon Nation. There you go. Oh, it's Creepy Dragon Nation, someone's name. I didn't realize that. Rick Horton says THX 1138 starring Donald Pleasence. Was Donald Pleasence in it? I thought it was Robert Duvall. Oh, Donald Pleasence. I need to rewatch it. Did you build your drawers, Gareth? Yeah, I did. It's all done, all complete, all finished. All nice and tidy. Oh my God, look who's here. Secret Vault from Matthew Williams. Hello, Matthew. All right, boy. What else we got? The Dragon Lady from the Philippines. This is a new one. I haven't seen that one before. Dragon Lady from the Philippines. Hello, everybody. All right, and I think I'm just going through to see if there's anyone new. Everyone else is pretty much the same. Have I missed anyone? If I've missed you, I do apologize. I'm just scanning through the list right here. Rachel Marsland is here. Almost at the end. Oh, there you go. YouTube referee says, I didn't say the show is boring. I said the intro is long. Well, yeah, the intro is long. It's a 10-minute intro. But I scheduled the show to start at 6 a.m., right? So at 6 a.m., the show starts. But the intro starts at 5:50. So wrap your noggin around that one. So the show starts on time and goes straight. Now, it would be fucked up if I said the show starts at 6 o'clock and then at 6 o'clock a fucking timer comes on. I wouldn't be happy with that. If I was a viewer and that shit happened, I would be pissed. I would not be happy. But I did the reverse. So show is scheduled to start at 6. It starts at 6. Timer starts at 5:50, right? So you got 10 minutes of the thing going around in the clock. And that's just to kind of pull you in, to get you ready, get you all fucking geared up for the show. And it works. I swear. So if you don't like the timer, just show up at 6 o'clock. Done. Easy. Or maybe show up at like 5:58, so you get 2 minutes of the timer. And then the show begins. Let's see. Oh, look who's here. Why, I'm on. Hey, Joe. Good morning. Let me give you an Arnie.
Good morning.
There you go. Very good. Good morning. I got a new one, too. This is a great one. Listen to this one.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Love it. Love it. You're all going to be saying these things, by the way. You know that, right? This is going to be burned into your head. You're gonna in real life, you're going to be going up to people, and you'll be going like, come on, don't bullshit me.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
And when you see someone in the morning, you're going to say,
good morning. How are you?
Like that every day. I guarantee it. This is going to catch on like wildfire. You're all going to be running around like fucking maniacs doing Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations. And you'll be like,
do it now.
There you go, like that. It's going to be hilarious. I got Why Man Joe just appeared. Let me see. I don't think anyone else has shown up. Karen says, put a bit of brandy in your coffee. No, I'm not going to do that. No, not at this time of the morning. Sorry. We should have Ben Emlyn-Jones joining us in about 15 minutes. Where we're going to talk about all kinds of crazy shit. UFO stuff and the like, no doubt. With Mr. Ben Emlyn. Let me get things ready so he can pop on when he appears. There we go. But there was speaking of UFOs and the like, and I'm sure we're going to talk about UFOs and weird shit when Ben gets on. But there was a very interesting article that came out. If I can find it, there we go. And it takes on ufology from the normie perspective, right? Because the things that have been happening in the news recently with UFOs, it's slowly bleeding into popular culture. Well, it's been bleeding into popular culture for the last 80 years, for God's sake. But now that the man in the suit and the tie came forward and said, yes, UFOs are real. Now we're all like, oh, okay. Because we got to have that authority figure tell us that things are real. If we don't have the guy in the suit tell us it's real, even if we experience it directly, it's fake. You got to have the guy in the suit come out on TV and say, ladies and gentlemen, UFOs are real. When, anyone with half a fucking brain has known UFOs are real for the past 80 years. But be that as it may, there we go. Let me line this up right. It's a bit. There we go. Oh, actually, that kind of works. Let me see. Yeah. Would you look at that? It works. So this is the headline here. Is UFOs are real? That's the easy part. Now here's the hard part. So, and that is a true statement, because admitting that UFOs are real is kind of easy. Make that a little bigger there. The hard part is, well, what now that it's real, now what? Right? What do you do next? So let me go through this real quick. This is written by, does it say? By Dylan Matthews of Vox.com. And Dylan says, all of a sudden, serious people are starting to take UFOs, unidentified flying objects, seriously. There's footage and records of objects in the sky that we don't exactly know what they are. We can't explain how they move, their trajectory, says former President Barack Obama, as he told CBS's James Corden. Many in Congress are curious too. And this month, the body is set to receive a report originating from the Pentagon Task Force detailing his investigations into unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. Now, they've kind of rebranded UFOs now. Now it's not cool to call them UFOs anymore. We gotta call them UAPs, okay? This is the preferred term for UFOs among specialists. Fucking maniac. The Pentagon Office of Inspector General is also evaluating the government's approach to UAPs with an eye on strengthening its monitoring and response. The highest levels of the American government are very, very interested in what's happening up there in the sky. When I was growing up, UFOs were the province of late-night talk shows and the X-Files. In other words, when you were growing up, you were a fucking imbecile. They had roughly a similar feel and respectability of theories about 9/11 attacks and the inside job, and the CIA killed John F. Kennedy. Wow, this guy is really nailing his own coffin shut. Say, this guy's a reporter. I mean, come on. 3 seconds you look into any of those subjects, you're going to find some shenanigans. Now, I don't pretend to know, the answers to what's going on here, but there was definitely some shady bullshit with 9/11 and with JFK. And this fool is just wiping it all off. Beep. Forget about it. It's all nonsense. And I thought UFOs were bullshit too, until the man in the suit came on TV and said they're real. Oh, now I gotta pay attention.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
that stigma appears to be fading somewhat. In 1996, Gallup found that 47% of Americans thought people reporting UFO sightings were seeing something real and not imagining it. Duh. In 2019, when Gallup polled again, the majority, 56%, thought UFOs observers were seeing something real. Interestingly, I can't say that word, the share of Americans saying the government knows more than they're telling us fell slightly from 1996 to 2019. That may reflect on the fact that the government has confirmed the reality of some of the most important, most prominent UFO videos. That's not true. Okay. In a somewhat surprising development that helped kickstart the current round of UFO fascination, the government confirmed the authenticity of 2 videos featured in the 2017 New York Times story and a third one that leaked months later. Each of these depicts U.S. Navy fighters observing a strange object whose nature appears to be baffling to them. We still don't know what these videos depict. And the risk of disappointing some readers, there's no evidence that they depict alien spacecraft. But it's hard to overstate just how much these videos have changed the way the public, the government, and the mainstream press, most notably the New York Times, think and talk about UFOs. To the point where people may have misconceptions about what exactly we know given the available evidence, given the available public evidence. And then they get into the videos, the go fast, the TikTok, the tic-tac, and and all that stuff as they pile into it. But this is I found this article very interesting because it really does illustrate how the general public, like normal people perceive UFO reality, right? I've always thought that most people never think about UFOs, ever. The thoughts don't even enter their mind. And if, on the rare occasion, these thoughts do kind of bleed into their consciousness, it's only for like about 3 seconds, and then it's instantly dismissed as, that's nonsense. There are no aliens. This is a bunch of bullshit. What time is the game on? Hand me that slice of pizza. That's pretty much it, right? But there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. I've said for many years that anyone who says there's no evidence for the existence of UFOs simply hasn't looked. It's really that simple. The evidence is overwhelming. Speaking of UFOs, I think it's that time. Let's see if we can bring in Mr. Ben Emlyn-Jones from the International Church of Bemlin. Let's see if we can bring him in. Let me see if I can call him. I gotta type. Let's see if he's ready, and then we'll bring in Mr. Emlyn-Jones, and we'll really start yapping about this UFO bullshit. We'll really start talking about all these maniacs and little green man and all that stupid shit. Stupid shit. If only it were so. How much more simple would life be if these things weren't real? And I know a lot of people believe that they're not, but hey, I got news for you. Well, let me just call him. I'm gonna call Mr. Ben, and we'll get him on the show. Where's he at? I don't see him.
You should be able to see me.
There
now.
he is.
There he is. Frame me up there.
Let me bring him in. There he is.
Are we on? Hello. Is everyone there? Are we live?
We're live. Hey Ben, how you doing?
Oh, hello
man?
everyone.
How's it going?
All right, thanks. Yeah, thanks for inviting me onto the show, Gareth. That's really good of you.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
we're live right now on Mindset Mornings,
Oh, cool.
my brand new daily show.
I'm not used to seeing you at this time of day. Normally we're
I'm not
Sun-
used- I'm not
sorry,
used-
not this time of day. This day. Sorry, because
I'm not used to seeing me at this time of day either.
I mean, sorry, I ment that this day because we do Sunday early mornings for you. Sunday afternoons for me. I'm very used to that.
Very true. Now, Ben, I'm hearing your voice, but it's not coming from the microphone on your head.
Right, hang on. Let me just check my settings.
There you go.
Oh, I should be.
I should assure viewers that Ben has used a computer before. I'm just saying.
Oh, I have. Yes. How's that? How's that?
Now you're gone. I don't see you anymore. Maybe I should.
Hang on.
I shouldn't have said anything. I should have.
You know what it is?
Gone with it.
It's something to do with OBS. For some reason, I've just updated OBS, and for some reason, it's messed around with Skype. It's messed around with Skype. I'm going to launch OBS. So I have to launch OBS, and then
Why are you using Why are you using OBS with Skype, dude?
because it's the only way to get this microphone to work. I don't know why. I didn't choose this. It's just suddenly decided it's going to. I've just updated it. It's messed with my Skype settings.
There you go. Okay. So let's just leave it at that. I mean, we can hear you. It's just not it's not coming from your microphone.
All right, you should be able to hear me okay now.
We can hear you, but your picture's gone again.
Okay, right.
It's like I'm talking to Steve Wills. What the hell is going on here? Come on, Ben.
Oh, good grief! What's happening?
There we go. You're back. No, you're not.
All right, let me just get rid of this. Hang on. Oops.
All right, so let's do this. While Ben figures out his technical woes, let's wake up with some Mark Rebulet, shall we? Let's get the blood pumping so we'll be ready to go when Ben gets back. So here's Mark.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
There you go. All right, we're back. I think Ben has worked some jiggery pokery.
How do I sound?
You sound the same, but that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what the hell's going on. I update OBS and suddenly all my settings are changed
Well,
on Skype.
there you go.
You
You made the cardinal sin of the UFO of the computer novice. You updated your software right before you're supposed to go live.
Oh dear. Oh yeah. I should have left it as it
You
was. I'll sort it out
ever
later.
do that, dude. Never do that.
I'll sort it out later.
Yeah, I've been burned by that many years ago. You're about to do a podcast or something, and blink. Hey, you want to update? Look at these new features. Oh, okay. Click. Fucks everything up. So
I don't want half these damn features.
do not update. Well, I mean,
why do they think that suddenly OBS needing to be attached to your Skype and why is that suddenly a better feature? Why was it? What's wrong with it as it was before?
I don't know, Ben.
I'm sorry. Listeners. I don't want all the viewers.
Maybe.
I don't want to bore you with my technical problems. Sorry about that.
But anyway, Ben, you're looking very fetching in your New York hat, and you got your background. What is your background there? Is that the ocean?
It is. No, that is Wardenclyffe Tower.
Oh no way! That's
It's Tesla's thing.
That's Tesla's tower thing.
Yeah, it was sadly demolished in 1917. Basically, Tesla built this thing it was an experimental power station, literally, which Tesla built, and was demolished in 1917 by J.P. Morgan and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all the other people who messed up his business. Because what it would have done, it would have provided free energy for everybody. They couldn't allow that kind of research to be done. So they ruined him and they destroyed the place. I know where it is. It's Wardenclyffe-on-Sea, Long Island. I want to go there one day because the foundations.
Yeah,
are
the
still
foundations
there.
are still there. I saw a YouTube video where a guy actually went to the location and I think he superimposed where the tower would have been in the location.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm fascinated by Tesla, and I'm curious, and I have to say I'm also a little skeptical, but I don't want to be.
Right. What
In the words of Fox Mulder, I want to believe.
Yeah.
This whole free energy thing, free energy being pulled out of the sky and sent to everyone's home, I really want that to be true, Ben. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But little light bulbs go off in my head saying, and I keep thinking,
Come on, don't bullshit me.
so, can you convince me?
Well, to quote the irrepressible Fox Mulder once again, trust no one. You see, the reason Tesla didn't succeed in his mission is because I think he was too trusting. He signed deals with people he shouldn't have signed deals with. He including Thomas Edison, J.P. Morgan, several other people who had ulterior motives in working with him. They didn't want to help him. They wanted to ruin him because what he wanted was so threatening. You see, if you could just imagine what the world would be like if this technology had been allowed, the world we're living in now would be transformed. It would be totally different to what it is today. It would be much better in many, many different ways.
Well, yeah, you're right, Ben. I mean, if everyone had access to free energy, it would drastically improve the lives of every man, woman, and child on the planet. There's no question, but it would also seriously damage the power structure that exists on Earth.
Well, as Dr. Stephen Greer said, it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, it is industry.
Right.
I mean, Can I read you a passage from my book?
Absolutely. Go ahead and hold up your
Roswell
book,
Rising.
Ben, so everyone can see. There you go.
This is a book, Roswell Rising, a novel of disclosure. Basically, it's a story. It's just a novel, as I said, but it covers so many of the things that Gareth and I talk about, and it's really it kind of like it's a story. It just came to me. What if we got the truth instead of the lies? Where is it? Hang on. But it's very interesting. Oh, hang on. I can't bloody find it now. This is my own bloody book. I wrote this. Why can't I find it? All right. Anyway, okay.
Come on, Ben.
Sorry.
You got it?
Yeah. Here we go.
Here we go.
We've flown. There we are. It's just a taster of what our organisation is capable of. What I don't get is why are people still flying into space on rockets unless all the space missions concocted by you, are they? Why is the space agency not using this technology? That's the free energy. Caxton grinned at him. They don't know about it. Clay Gufford, are you serious? He said, deadly. And then he said, the vehicles you have make rockets as obsolete as horse buggies. We're well aware of that claim. He says, my God, it could transform the world forever. I can't even begin to imagine. His mind suddenly recalled the slum tenement blocks he'd seen in Cork in 1950. Gerald, this will end poverty, a free and limitless supply of energy. Nobody ever need be hungry, thirsty, or homeless again. Clane, Caxton interjected quietly. Look at what's on TV at the moment, Gerald. How many millions of people are dying right now in Abyssinia? Why? Because they've had no rain for a decade. Clane, with these machines, they don't need rain. They can get water from the oceans, filter out the salt, and pump it inland to wherever they need to irrigate the farms for no cost at all. Clane. And what about America, Gerald? How many old people die every winter because they can't afford to heat their homes? Homes that run on what? Gas? Coal? While all this time, energy exists that could save their lives. Clane. Well, no more oil slicks, no more killing birds. We don't need to cut down forests. Clane, stop. Gerald held his hands up to cut him off. But come on, Gerald, when are we going to see this gear released for public development? Never. There was a long silence. Gerald, what?
Well,
Listen, Klein, listen to
let me stop you right there, Ben. I think we got the basic gist of it. That
All right.
Gerald is a bit of a prick.
Correct.
But yeah, it would be enormously transformative and ultimately beneficial to the world. But like I said earlier, it would seriously damage the power structure, and the power structure is what holds the keys to the kingdom. And they're not gonna do anything to damage themselves. So they're gonna, ixnay on the free energy, eh?
Yeah, it's not just it's partly money. I mean, you can't. You seriously going to walk up to the chairman of Royal Dutch Shell and say, "Sorry, your services are no longer required."
Right.
But don't worry, you still need oil to make candles. Shell candles. They smell nice.
Hundreds of
paper wallpaper.
The petroleum industry makes hundreds of billions of dollars in profit every year.
And it would also
and is a major component of the Earth's power structure. They're going to piss that away in 3 seconds? I don't think so.
Exactly, and it's the use of fossil fuels is the lubricant of civilization. The entire world order, as we know it today, is built around an economy and a financial system and a political system based on this.
Yes.
Now, to change that would be, however much better it would be for your average person, the power and the movers and shakers, the deep states of this world, they don't care about the welfare of you and me. They don't care about the environment and the damage that's been done to that. What they're thinking is, how will this affect our ability to govern this world? Mm-hmm. How will it affect us preserve a ordered, predictable planet for us to rule? They'll be thinking, like, if you, for example, what about India and China? I mean, with their huge populations and enormous resources, they would very, very quickly rise in prominence over the West in a free energy world. I think that's going to happen anyway. It's inevitable. But it would happen far quicker and more solidly in a free energy. Things like that. They're always thinking about things like that. And if it means killing a few whales and cutting down some trees and letting some old folk die in their homes, who cares? So be it. Let them.
Yeah, the free energy would also push us a few steps towards a level playing field, right? And you can't have because we live in a hierarchical society, the pyramid, a level playing field where we all have access to the same resources, that can't be allowed to happen.
I don't think so. I think you would,
because the people in power, they want to remain in power.
Well, exactly. I think in a free energy society, you would still have like social classes and things like that. But you wouldn't have this disparity between the West and the Third World. There'd be no reason now why you couldn't have a high standard of living all over the world. So countries which are now very poor would be raised to a very high standard of living.
And it would also
comparatively high standards of living.
I think also, Ben, it would end immigration.
Well, it would change it.
If in your third world country suddenly becomes a first world country, and you have the resources, what the fuck are you leaving for?
Well, they want to come to England for the weather, Gareth.
Oh,
you know that?
Of course, yes.
It's exactly. You see, the movement of people, this industrialized movement of people that's going on at the moment, would be impossible if it wasn't for the push and pull factor of poverty and the disparate wealth. Exactly. And in fact, but I just say it wouldn't stop immigration, but it would change it. Because if you read the sequel, not the sequel, that's probably the last part. It's the last part of the trilogy. It's called Roswell Redeemed.
The background of your Tesla background is obscuring the book.
Oh, right, okay, I'll put it over my face like that.
There you go, put it over your face.
So you can't see my face now either.
So, let's man. While Ben whores out his book.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a sale, but I'm just saying that in the third one, Roswell Redeemed, what happens is there's an immigration problem with people wanting to move to Africa and places like that because they want their place in the sun, and African countries start getting a bit fed up with this.
It's like the shoes on the other foot now, huh?
Yeah, they're getting fed up with these huge colonies of people from America, from Ireland, and places like that. I mean, main character is an Irish American, and he moves to Ghana. He goes and lives in Ghana when he retires there, and he finds that there's people who are very hostile. A lot of people are very hostile because they're fed up with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the problem, I think, if in a free energy world. I'm not a utopian. It would.
Well, yeah, of course. I agree completely. Even if we had free energy, it wouldn't be all sunshine and light. There's still going to be issues. There's still going to be problems. You're still going to have to deal with bullshit and nonsense. Yeah. But a major component of life, which is survival, would be significantly diminished, right?
Correct. Yes, that's right. As we'll find out on Friday, though, won't we? No, will we? No.
Whoa! Hey! What are you talking about, Ben? What's going on Friday?
Yeah, it's all going to be released on Friday, because that's I'm joking.
You mean the UFO papers, right?
Yeah, the UAPTF report comes out. The first one comes out on Friday, the 25th.
Well,
and
once again,
people.
I know you and I have talked about this in the past many times, and I think it's probably all going to be just a bunch of nonsense, right? It's going to be meaningless. But like I always say, I would love to be wrong.
Well, you see, if you watch, I covered this on the Kev Baker show last night as well. Kev and I went into this. It's the report has been leaked apparently to the New York Times, and I'm inclined to take the Times seriously because they've been very good in the past with this subject. One of the senators involved in the Senate Intelligence Committee has told the New York Times basically. It seems unbelievable and very, very anticlimactic and disappointing. The report is just going to lay out this usual line. It's going to say, well, yeah, we know there are things in the sky. We don't know what they are. We're examining them, but we don't know. We've got no proof they're aliens, but we can't rule it out.
Yeah, they got to put in that little caveat because they know it's fucking aliens.
You see, this is it, because this is the same line they've always said. I was watching the famous press conference from it was July 1952. Mm-hmm. General John Samford, head of the Air Force, did a famous press conference. It's you've probably seen it. It's a classic one where he talks about the UFOs. Right? They didn't use the term UFO had only just sort of come into being. They generally said flying saucers, but he basically said the same thing. And we're now almost 70 years down the line, and millions of pounds have been spent and no progress. I mean, is there any other? I'm trying to think of another example of a 70-plus year project in which a huge amount of money has been spent and there's no progress been made. And the only thing that comes to mind is, unfortunately, Wales's World Cup runs. Apart from that, really nothing. So, do we believe him? Do we believe this? You see, Bryce Zabel wrote about this before this damn thing even happened. Bryce Zabel put up an article saying, basically, there's no way they're ever going to be lay out this line credibly again, because it flies in the face and it's so counter to even things they themselves have said, and the witnesses, people like David Fravor and Alex Dietrich and Sean Cahill and the researchers such as Lou Elizondo and Christopher Mellon.
Right.
They've literally said, okay, look, of course we can't prove it's aliens, but there's enough evidence now for us to speculate, make an intelligent guess, and say that these are probably of non-human intelligent construction. And there's absolutely nothing wrong. It's perfectly logical to say these are probably of non-human intelligent construction. That's all you have to say. You don't have to say the A word.
Well, I mean, by saying that, you're implying that it's aliens. I think we did we touch on, was it? Because I talk about these things on all different kinds of shows, and I can never remember where I mentioned this shit. I might have talked about it yesterday on Mindset Mornings. I can't remember. Or was it? No, I did. No, I talked about it with you on the Mindset podcast.
Look, I went to the Skywatch, didn't I? And,
yes, and we talked about other levels of awareness in reality, and how these things, whatever they may be, they might be aliens, but not necessarily aliens from another planet. They might be indigenous to Earth, and we speculated on how that could be, considering we've mapped the Earth, we know everywhere on the Earth, blah blah blah, and we talked a little bit about that on the Mindset podcast. So I don't really want to go through all that again here on this show. Suffice to say that if you are interested in that conversation that Ben and I had on Sunday, shoot over to the links at the bottom, mindsetcentral.com, and take a listen to the podcast from this past Sunday, where Ben and I really kind of get into all the little nooks and crannies of what may or may not be going on here with these visitors from elsewhere.
And the reason, you see, you may think, what's this got to do? How did we segue into this from what we were talking about before about Tesla? Well, the reason is because these craft, I think these craft they do have proof they're aliens or some ultra-terrestrials or whatever, and they have decisive physical evidence. I've spoken to many people like Dr. Irena Scott, a couple of other people who I think have convinced me that is the case. And this means it's possible that some of the workings of this wreckage, this decisive physical evidence, the debris, that place like Roswell, has gone into producing, has been researched, back engineered, and possibly developed as what the late Mark McCandlish called alien reproduction vehicles.
Yeah, that's. I've heard that term. I think I first heard the alien reproduction. I heard that. I think Timothy Good was talking about that in the early '90s, where he was talking about alien reproduction vehicles, and it always sounded and felt a bit off to me.
Well, it's
it's
a long step, and we don't know. There's several researchers who claim to have been involved in projects involving very, very sophisticated aviation projects involving esoteric technology and things like that. Others say they're involved in crash retrievals. Connecting those two together is difficult because there's not many credible people, I think, who say they're familiar with both. So it's a bit of a supposition. It could be that we caught what crashed at Roswell has been put into a hangar and everyone's just staring at it and they can't work out what it was. The initial news reports before the cover-up began describe it as being like a box kite, very, very flimsy construction, no visible power plant or propulsion system. That's how they describe it.
Yeah. And
then suddenly, it's just a weather balloon. We know that was a lie now.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at I'm brain farting. What was the name of the guy that Major Jesse Marcel? Stanton Friedman interviewed him in, was it 78 or 79?
78.
And there's video of this. There's a video of Jesse Marcel talking about the craft. And he says, without no fucking around, he says straight. He says, we didn't know what the hell it was. It sure as hell wasn't a weather balloon. And you could tell by the press release of the time where the press release was, yes, we've captured a flying saucer, we have it. Then the next day it was like, oh, no, sorry, it was a weather balloon.
Yeah.
And it's like, is everyone in the Army Air Force a bunch of fucking imbeciles? You can't tell the difference between strange exotic technology and a fucking balsa wood and aluminum foil fucking weather balloon? Are you a retard? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
That's how they try to portray it. They basically, Jesse Marcel was made to look like a fool, which is why, and he must have been brooding for 30 whole years, absolutely furious with what had been done to him. And then Stan Friedman comes along and he said, okay, I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you what I know.
Yeah.
And he did. And they did that interview. And so I don't believe the official story of Roswell is nonsense. And what's more, the various explanations that have come since. In other words, the government said, yeah, we lied, but we didn't lie to cover up aliens. We lied to cover up some other things. And they've changed their story now twice over that.
Yeah.
They've said first, it was we were doing tests with parachute dummies,
and
it was Project Mogul, which is a electronic intelligence gathering balloon. It's a very large man. It's the biggest unmanned balloon in history. It was designed to pick up the infrasonic
Soviet
shockwaves
from Soviet nuclear tests, right?
Yeah, they knew that the Russians were building the bomb. They knew it, and this was the big secret they were keeping from people because everyone thought naively that America had the bomb and no one else would ever get it.
Uh-huh.
But they knew the Russians were building one. They knew it was very... Indeed, the following year, 1948, the Soviets did detonate their first bomb. So yeah, then but they wanted to hear it. They wanted to know when this happened because they knew there'd probably been some secret destinations first, and they wanted to know when the Russians actually got the bomb. But again, this is just a cover up bearing another cover up. You know, it's just a double bluff.
Well, it does sound, I mean, the way you put it like that, you know, the Project Mogul to sense the detonations of nuclear tests. Even when you were describing it, I was like, oh, that sounds plausible. Sounds
it was highly classified.
Sounds
it was highly
legitimate.
classified operation.
But it from my perspective, it's like those operations were in existence, but they just kind of glommed onto it and moved one over to explain the Roswell crash. To kind of like, yeah, well, it was actually a fucking balloon that we were doing this shady bullshit with. You know,
It's a fallback position.
Yeah, they kind of flipped.
Not least,
it over.
I think Major Marcel would have known what it was. I mean, he wouldn't have necessarily recognised the balloon because he wasn't part of the project. He didn't have a need to know. He was not cleared for it.
Yeah.
But he would recognise that it was something. It was a type of balloon. Some of the parts he would recognise because some of the components of Project Mogul were the same ones that went into weather balloons. Like they used a lot of weather balloon envelopes to lift the thing, and things like that. And he would have they would have just told him to keep his mouth shut, and that would be the end of it. But according to the skeptics, oh no, that's not what they did. Firstly, Marcel mistook it for something extraterrestrial, and then somehow the newspapers got hold of it. They put out this story about a flying disc. Oh, that was good because it covered up Project Mogul even more. And I thought, no, none of that makes sense. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's once again, as we've been quoting Fox Mulder all day, or all morning, and another pearl of wisdom that Fox Mulder said on the X-Files, which burned into my memory the first time I heard it, is when he turns to a guy and he says, and they say, "What's wrong?" He says, "I'm still trying to decide which lie to believe."
Yes.
You know, and that's pretty much sadly, that's pretty much the world we live in, right? Is you have to decide, well, which lie am I going to believe? Because it's very difficult to discern the truth because we're immersed in bullshit, you know.
Come on,
it's hard to
don't
know
bullshit
to
me.
pick the truth out of that. It's really difficult.
Very difficult.
Not least because we have very, very skilled deceivers among us.
Oh yes.
Who want us to go in a certain direction. I mean, the UFO situation may well be being manipulated for some kind of hidden purpose, which is why we need to be on our guard.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get paranoid because there are some people who just completely.
Wait, whoa! You mean you're not paranoid, Ben? Come on, tell the truth.
I do make an effort not to be, believe it or not, because you may think I am because I'm a conspiracy theorist, and skeptics would say, well, all conspiracy theorists are paranoid.
You wear your conspiracy theory badge with honor, right? It's a conspiracy badge. Hey, wait, that's the famous mug I've seen in many of your live streams. What does it say on it? Hold it up to the camera. Let's take a look at this. It says, the world's best gardener.
Yeah, I can't remember where I got this. I think I just picked it up one day off the shelf. I don't know where it came from. I also have this. I have like some of this as well.
This is your dragon juice, right?
It's the dragon juice, yeah.
So you're chugging dragon juice and tea at the same time.
Yeah, not in the same mouthful, but yeah, on and off.
So
I just got home from work actually.
Oh, you did? Okay. So let me ask you, Ben, because this has always been a fascinating aspect of the legendary Mr. Ben Emlyn-Jones. What is dragon juice?
It is cordial. It's just orange cordial, or sometimes lemon, sometimes blackcurrant, depending what I feel like drinking.
Oh God, that's. I thought you were going to say something amazing then. Not fucking.
Well, I also have a vitamin C supplement drink, which I something drink as well. It's cordial. It's just normal squash, you know. It's nothing special, unfortunately. Nothing I can say that is particularly enlightening or anything like that.
What's really in it, Ben?
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Well, I could tell you that, then I'd have to kill you.
Excellent. So, hey, have you have you got the book, the new Jack Valet book, Trinity? Have you got it yet? Do you know anything about it?
No, I mean, a lot of people have read it. I mean, a lot of people are talking about it. Jacques Vallée's an amazing chap because, like, he's been doing this since the 60s. I mean, he's like, he wrote Passport to Magonia and things like that. He's really, really a legend in ufology. But the new book, I'm not sure. I've not actually read. I've seen him he's been interviewed by Paola Harris. He's been interviewed by Joe Rogan. I haven't watched the Joe Rogan thing yet. Oh, God.
It's good, dude. It's good. Whenever Joe Rogan gets someone from ufology on the show, it's a must-watch because he's changed his tune. I mean, I think Rogan back in the day, he was a believer in like the early 90s. Then he became exposed to like UFO people at conferences and stuff and realized that they're all fucking mental. So then Ben laughs, but then he changed his mind and said, "No, it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. You know, these guys are whacked out of their skulls," and that was his position for many years. That it was all nonsense. That people are bullshit artists and they're crazy. It's only in the last 5 years, I think, that he's come back around, and I think now he's a firm believer. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I get that impression. I mean, the thing is, like, I think it's disappointing that he signed that exclusive with Spotify because he has. I think he regrets it actually. Got him a lot of money. I think it was about £50 million or something like that. But
that's $100 million.
$100 million US. That's a lot of money.
And that's almost as much as what I got for doing Mindset Mornings, by the way.
Oh, not quite. Yes, almost as much. Joe Rogan, he should really have gotten to Mindset Central. I think with you. I mean, really good, but so not quite the same. But you know, the thing about it is, it went downhill because he had to delete all his most interesting shows. He had to get rid of the ones with Sargon of Akkad.
No, that's not true.
Isn't it?
No.
Right. I see.
They wanted to delete all the Alex Jones shows, all that shit. They wanted to get rid of them, and they did for like a week. And he got upset, and they put him back.
Oh, good, right. I'm glad they're still around.
But you can only listen to them on Spotify, whereas before you could get them on like YouTube and all these places, but now it's only Spotify. But I mean, Spotify, you don't have to be a member of Spotify to listen or watch the Joe Rogan show.
No, you can
it's free.
Play it.
So you
get the app.
Yeah, you can through the app or on their websites. So I say it's free. You still have to set up an account with them so they can grab your information and spam you and shit. But but you're not paying any money, you know. So
it's part of their free catalog.
You can listen to it for free. Yeah.
Also, I've noticed there are a few bootleg ones floating around still on YouTube, so you can always watch those.
Right.
All of his old shows, a lot of his old shows have like bootleg copies floating around on BitChute and YouTube. But on the subject of Joe Rogan's modern experience, I've been very impressed by the level of guests he has on. I mean, he has he's quite daring to have these rather controversial figures on, like Sargon of Akkad, but he also has he's done many interviews with Graham Hancock, which are really, really good.
Fascinating.
He's also had Bob Lazar on there. He's had Annie Jacobs, who she did her interview about Area 51 was really interesting.
Yeah,
and what's interesting about Graham Hancock is that he's often on there with Michael Shermer. I know Rogan brings them on for them to have debates.
The Michael Shermer Graham Hancock interview on Rogan was because from my perspective, even though Michael Shermer, of course, is a diehard skeptic, I think he's the editor of Skeptical magazine or Skeptic magazine, I believe. Yeah. But he's one of the few famous skeptics that actually seems to be a nice guy.
I know.
He seems to be like, you could hang with him and have a beer. I get the vibe that he seems like he's a cool dude. Whereas most of the other famous skeptics, they're pricks.
Well, if I was ever at a pub having a beer with Professor Brian Cox, I'd empty it all over his head.
Why you got to bring up that fucking maniac?
Sorry,
That's
but
okay.
Shermer. I agree. Sherman. That's why I know someone who met Sherman, Frankie Ma, who I interviewed once. She was in that absurd TV series, that TV series, The Conspiracy Road Trip, which they wanted me to be on.
Oh yeah, that was the one with Charlie Veitch. They got on that. That's where that was the one where he changed it. He stopped being a conspiracy theorist.
Right. Yeah.
He changed his mind.
Yeah, they did a 3-part follow-up series where they asked me to be on it.
And what happened?
I said, bugger off, not a chance.
Oh, man, it would have been amazing. If you'd been on that, dude, can you imagine how amazing that would have been?
It would have been embarrassing, and it would have been disreputable.
Are you kidding me?
Have you seen them? Have you seen the follow-up series?
Exactly. Dude, okay.
Watch it, you'll know what I mean.
Would it have tarnished your conspiracy theory badge of honor? Yes.
It would have made me feel... It would have made me feel exploited. I
yes,
felt like
100%, Ben. But you're missing one crucial point. The comedy factor would have been off the fucking charts.
This is something that, I mean, there are things to take funny, and I know people. The thing is, it would be because people would be taking a mickey out of it.
It would be hilarious. Come on, it would be great.
I would have. Oh God!
Hang on. Arnold wants to say something. Hold on.
All right.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
There you go. It would have been amazing, Ben.
Mm. No, I'm very, very glad I didn't do it. I'm very relieved when I saw the series because it was an absolute travesty.
Yeah, I agree.
It was meant to be funny on purpose to make it look like stupid, you know.
Right, and they do that a lot. You know, they'll I think they kind of bait you in, saying, "Oh no, we're just going to be very serious. We're going to take all opinions into consideration. It's all going to be very above board, and everything will be great." And you're like, "Okay, cool. If you could just sign here, please." And you sign, and you come on the show, and they just take the piss out of you for 2 hours.
Exactly. This is why I would have. I mean, and that's the thing, and this is why I refused, and I'm glad I did because when I saw it, but. Going back to Shermer, because Shermer appears on one of Michael Shermer appears on one of them, and he starts by getting into an argument with Frankie. Frankie actually she also regrets being involved in this series. I must say, she really, really wishes she hadn't done it. Same with Tony Topping and most of the others. I think regret it, but anyway, Frankie. One thing she doesn't regret is she didn't like Shermer at first because he was a skeptic, but when she got to know him, she said she really liked him. She said he was actually a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about Shermer, you said he was like this arch skeptic. And his thing is, if you look at I think Rogan's done like 3 interviews with Shermer and Hancock now.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's
he's
3.
He's done a few. Yeah, for sure.
When at the beginning, of course, Shermer is like the arch skeptic who's like trying to dismiss everything Hancock is saying, and Hancock is very exasperatedly trying to. Just, you see, Graham Hancock has really run out of patience for those kinds of people, and he gets quite angry with him. But the third episode, things have changed.
Yeah, I was going to say there were a couple of moments, and everything you just said, Ben, I do agree with. You're right, and you could see Hancock getting exasperated talking to him. But there were certain moments where Sherman was like, "Oh, okay, yeah," and he was receptive. He was okay. I can see that. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. I'll have to research it a little bit more. It's interesting stuff. Whereas when they originally started was it a debate or like a discussion?
It was at the beginning. Yeah,
it was very much like Hancock would say something and Sherman would be like, "Well, no, that's not true because of blah, 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 blah." And he said, "Yeah, but what about this?" "Well, that's not true because of..." And they would go back and forth. But by the end, Sherman kind of... He was more receptive, and
it's interesting, isn't it?
That's a good thing, right?
It is. It's very interesting as well, considering Sherman's background. I'll say a bit more about this in a minute, but the thing is, I found out right that since they've been appearing together on Joe Rogan, they've been doing. Hancock and Sherman have become quite good friends.
Oh wow!
And Hancock wants Sherman to take ayahuasca. Wants to go to the jungle, go to see the shamans in the Amazon, and go on an ayahuasca workshop. And if that happens, that's going to be very, very interesting. And it looks like I think Sherman will eventually agree.
Well, wasn't there? Because Sherman's very kind of anti-paranormal. Well, maybe anti is the wrong word, but very very skeptical of paranormal phenomena. But didn't he have a kind of paranormal experience that kind of almost changed his mind, almost pushed him to the other side?
You know where I'm going with this. I think we may have discussed this before.
We
you
have.
see, because Shermer has a very interesting background. Like, he was Mr. Skeptic. He was like always on TV. He, as you say, he's the editor of the Skeptic magazine. He runs the Skeptic Society. He organises a conference every year, which is the prime one. Now James Randi's dead. The TAM conferences, I think, have stopped, but his is like prime one. And he had a weird experience when he was cycling, because he used to be a long distance cycle racer. And he was on his bike riding along the road, and he had like a mystical experience. He put it down to his mind playing tricks on him through exhaustion, because a lot of the cyclists actually suffer from hallucinations. Thing about it is, though, then he became a skeptic. He became like the Susan Blackmore of America. He wrote a book called Why People Believe Crazy Things, and you know, it's the most skeptic title you can imagine.
Yes. It's a great title, though. You got to admit, it's a great title.
And yeah, it's very patronising, but the thing is, then he got married. I think it was 2015. This happened. He got married. I remember I covered it in an article, because he posted on his website, because he has a web, michaelshermer.com, which he doesn't do much with. He just basically uses it to share links to his column in Scientific American. But he said, "I've just had an experience that rocked my skepticism back on its knees."
Wow.
I said, what? I'll just find the exact quote, because he was like, it was a really weird thing. He said, I have. He said that
while you're looking for it, Ben, let's
apologies,
because we're after the 7 o'clock. We're after the 7 o'clock hour, so that means we need to take a quick look outside to see what's happening out there. So let's see what's going on.
Oh, right. What's happening now?
And as you can see, on the outside cam, it's a little bit wonky. I think the camera's moved.
Is that your house?
It's out the window. I'm looking out the window. I think it's it looks like a Batman angle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit wonky, but there's nothing much going on there at 7 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, did you find the thing there, Ben, or were you transfixed by the view from outside my house?
I can't find it, but it doesn't matter. I'll just paraphrase it. He just said, I found something that rocked my skepticism back on its knees. He says, you know, whatever the factual cause, we should never hesitate to wonder at the mysterious. And I thought to myself, what? Is this Michael Shermer talking? An absolute row broke out on the James Randi forum at that time. It was like, really, because they were really worried about it. They think we're going to see, and I was thinking to myself, yes, we're going to see a top level defection from the skeptics. Yeah, and do you know what it was? He got married, you see, to Jenny, his wife from Germany, and Jenny brought over a load of her luggage from Germany to Michael's house. He actually lives near you. Actually, I think it's is it Beverly Hills?
Yeah, actually, that's his house right there across the street from me.
Yeah, he should invite you in for a cup of tea.
I'm gonna go over there later and knock on his door and say, "Hey,
yo, Mike, hey, it's me."
What the fuck? I'm kidding.
It's me, Mike. Yeah, you know, one of her possessions was a 1977 Philips transistor radio, which doesn't work. It's a very old one. It didn't work. And the reason she kept it, though, because it belonged to her father, who died.
Right.
And so she kept it. And Michael Shermer, you know, he tried to fiddle with it to get it to work. He was just curious to see if he'd get it going. So he fiddled with the innards with a screwdriver, changed the battery, things like that. Couldn't get it to work. So he just left it in his drawer of his desk. Just because she wasn't going to throw it away. It was just had too big, enormous sentimental value.
Right.
And they get married. They get married in his house, and they have a ceremony in the house. And halfway through the ceremony, Shermer suddenly starts hearing music, and he thinks some bugger's left their mobile phone on. He looks around, annoyed. No, he doesn't. The music's coming from his study. He goes in there. The music's coming from the drawer in his desk. Guess what? The Philips transistor is playing. It's working, and it's playing a particular song, one that was not broadcast on any local stations, besides which they're all digital now, I think. So this wouldn't have picked it up anyway. It's a song that Jenny's father used to like. She used to be very fond of. he used to like very much, and he was playing at the very moment when they were exchanging vows. That was the very moment when she was thinking to herself, "I wish my dad was here to give me away."
Yeah, it's
Now
that's. I mean, what are the odds, Ben? I mean, that's.
Well, you know what Sherma said?
What?
Something else he said was, if I heard that from somebody else, I wouldn't have believed it. And I immediately responded underneath, you have heard it from other people, you haven't believed it. Right. Now it's happened to you. Welcome to our world, Sherma.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself,
sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
So I was going to say that could be this experience will lead to him changing his position. Now that's not going to happen overnight. You know, Paulian conversions don't happen in real life. People just come across new information. Slowly but surely it builds up over time. Susan Blackmore describes this about when she went in the other direction. She became a skeptic. And then one day you just get like a boom, that's it. You know, you just suddenly realize. And so I watched Michael Shermer very carefully to see whether he would exhibit any signs of maybe testing the fence slightly. And I didn't find any for a long time. I thought, nah, he's just carrying on walking down Skeptic Avenue. He's just picked himself up.
Skeptic Avenue.
Brushed himself up and carried on walking. Until now, he's become chummy with Hancock. And I've got a feeling the experience he had at his wedding, he may have integrated it, may have processed, and it might finally be bearing fruit.
Well, that would be amazing, Ben, if he did, convert. But I don't think you have to convert, though. I mean, I think it's healthy to be skeptical. It's good to be, if I were to say I went to Venus yesterday, it's good to be skeptical that I didn't go to Venus. I mean, but for all you know, I might have, right? But it's good to be skeptical and kind of, it doesn't make sense to me. That sounds like,
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't automatically believe if someone told me some cock and bull story. I wouldn't automatically believe it. However,
but you got to have an open enough mind to kind of explore the possibilities that this person might be telling the truth.
Yeah. The skeptics, though, what we think of skeptics and skeptics, we think of people like Sherman, like James Randi, like Susan Blackmore, like Professor Brian Cox, like these other people, like Chris French as well, who I quite like, actually. He's quite a nice skeptic. These people, I think it's not that they're looking for evidence in the way I would if you made some claim. It's like they have an ideological commitment to a certain worldview, which they are promoting against where logic and science leads, against the flow of logic and science and where the evidence leads.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's a big statement to make, but I have researched this in detail. I've done an entire talk on skeptics and several videos I've done on skeptics. And that's where I think that's what the skeptic movement is, in my view.
Well, being skeptical, I mean, being like I said earlier, being skeptical is good, right? It's healthy to be skeptical. But when you're like overtly skeptical, when everything is a bunch of nonsense, like, it's like how many people now earlier on we were talking about the UAPs and all this nonsense, and now, we read the man in the suit tell us that UFOs are real, therefore they're real. But how many people over the years, high-profile kind of scientists and skeptics have said, oh no, there's no UFOs, it's all nonsense, people who see them are either drunk or out in the middle of nowhere, and it's all bullshit, they don't exist, blah, blah, blah. Like fucking that fucking retard Brian Cox, DeGrasse Tyson, all these fools, right? They've all said, oh, it's all bullshit, you're all crazy, right? Now, they're all fucking backpedaling. They're all going back. They're all kind of retracing their steps, saying, well, no, actually, it's possible. It could be, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? We have the video. We have the video of DeGrasse Tyson and fucking Brian Cox all saying it's all bullshit. We have all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I cannot wait to rub that shit in their fucking faces and tell them they're a bunch of fucking imbecile, retard, closed-minded fucks.
It's really going to piss them off so badly. I mean, Bryce Zabel said it's going to be their 9/11, and it will be. Now, some of them will double down no matter what. Others are, like you said, are coming over. Now, I think I know the ones who I can probably predict in advance which ones are going to double down and which ones are going to eat humble pie. I think DeGrasse Tyson will. I think probably Shermer will. I mean, Shermer's sort of wavering anyway. Another odd one is Sam Harris, who seems already to have done so. Now, that's very interesting with Sam Harris, because he did an interview with Ricky Gervais recently, in which he actually said, basically, he believes in UFOs.
Well, didn't Brian Cox, your pal, your good friend and colleague, didn't he recently come out and say that it could be aliens? It is possible.
No, he appeared on a documentary.
But wasn't that what I keep seeing, like a headline in a newspaper where Brian Cox said?
Yeah, that's partly my fault. That's partly my fault because
fault?
I did an article called "The Coxer Goes Pro-Alien?" ?
Yeah.
I should have chosen a different title. What it was, he appeared in a documentary on TV. Its title was Brian Cox Explores or something. In it,
I'm waiting for the show called Brian Cox Takes His Own Life. That's the show I'm looking forward to, Ben.
I mean, the thing about it is he will have to double down because he's so invested in this worldview. He's going to be, as you know, in my book, if you read my book, that's what the skeptics do in this book.
When hold it in front of your face because it vanishes.
Yeah,
there you go.
When in this book,
actually, you know what? Can you keep it like that for the rest of the interview? That'd be great.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Come on.
No, what he did was he appeared in this document in this program. I can't remember the title. It was on BBC. You get it on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
And what's weird is when he was interviewed for this program, he appeared in several articles. Including one in the Mirror. He was interviewed in several articles called the articles with titles like the one you just said. This one from the Mirror is "Pilots Say UFOs Are Real as They Share Wild Experiences," and Brian Cox agrees. Now, that's actually not true. He didn't agree. When I watched the actual documentary, Cox really just says the same thing he's always said. Yes, there's loads of aliens out there, but they live a long way away from us, and they're never going to find us because they're too far away. So
I was going to ask you.
I
was going to ask you to do the impression, dude, but it was awkward. So I'm glad you went there.
Yes, I'm so clever.
That's right. I know. It sounds a bit like "Why I Man Joe." That's right. I'm Brian Cox. Why I Man. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Cox is like, so Cox basically, in this new documentary, he just talks about SETI, he talks about the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. He lays out the same line as Carl Sagan. Yes, there are aliens out there, but it's no point studying UFOs. We have to point telescopes at the sky and look at things millions of light years away. But the question is, why did Cox allow himself to appear in articles with like that? Well, because they completely misrepresent his words. I mean, did he have any choice? I mean, did they just? I mean, did he agree to it or what? Excuse me. Did he agree to it? What happened? We'll start you now.
Yeah, well, I mean, yawns are contagious, right? So, but I hear singing in your background, Ben. What's going on over there?
Well, that's Alan. That's a bloody liberal.
What's Alan doing over there?
He lives in the flat above me, and
doesn't this fucking Alan guy realize it's 7:20 a.m. in the morning and his bullshit's going to wake people up?
You are. Unfortunately, it's actually 3:20 where we are.
Get a broom and bang the fucking ceiling and tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But anyway, Brian Cox. I always enjoy your impersonations of Mr. Cox.
I just can't. I loathe the man. I think he's horrible.
Yeah.
But he's definitely not changing his position. He just allowed his name to be associated with these articles. Now, I don't know if that's. I wonder actually if he sees the writing on the wall and he's trying to maneuver himself up the grid a little bit. There could be an alternative to what I said before. He may not double down.
He's going. I think Cox, DeGrasse Tyson is already starting to plant seeds that that these are aliens. I think they're all going to slowly start to change their opinion over time, right?
Yeah, they are clutching to straws.
You can see it. You can see it starting to happen. They're planting little seeds here and there, knowing that hey, I'm going to have to come out and say that this stuff's real, even though for fucking 30 years I've been saying it's all a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. They say if they're far high enough off the starter grid, that people will notice what they say first and forget about what they've been saying for the last few decades. That's the thing.
Right.
As Arthur C. Clarke says, all wisdom passes through these stages. First it's ignored, then it's laughed at, then it's accepted. Then, I thought of it first.
Yeah.
And I think we may be getting to the I thought of it first stage with the skeptics.
We could be. Well, Ben,
but it won't work. This day and age, it's not going to work because we will be able to inform them that actually you didn't think of it first. We thought it first, and you poked fun at us.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And here's your tweets, here's your emails.
Here's the video. Here's the video of you laughing at people saying UFOs are real. Here's the video of you making fun of them, making them look like fools. Well, guess what, Mr. Cox?
Really that was fake.
That was fake. That was fake.
I didn't really do that.
The shoe will be on the other foot very soon with this fucking mental case. So don't worry, Ben. We'll get our revenge. It's on the way. Well, Ben, we're rapidly approaching the end of the show, so I want to thank you so much for coming on, Ben. It's always a pleasure. We have to get you back on Mindset Mornings very soon. Maybe next week you can come back and regale us with your ufological tales of all these fascinating stories and the like.
There's so much we can talk about that and other things. Yeah, by next week we'll know, the report will be published.
Well, we'll see. Well, we'll probably discuss that on the Mindset podcast, but we can certainly regurgitate it here on Mindset Mornings. Well, Ben, I'm gonna say goodbye to you now, and I'm gonna wrap up the show. But
thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, man. Always a pleasure. I will talk to you very soon. Thank you, Ben.
See you then, Gareth. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye, Ben. And Ben goes off into the ether. Thank you so much, Ben. Really appreciate you coming on today. We are rapidly approaching the end of the show, which means that my coffee cup is now completely empty, which means I'm starting to fall asleep again. And when I start to fall asleep, that means only one thing is going to wake me up. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Rabelais.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Get up, and then they got go Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
There you go. I should remind everyone that if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I think the thing, I don't know, maybe there's more experienced YouTube people out there, but I think my counter's stuck because I keep getting emails from people who have subscribed, but the counter on the page is just like locked in at 889 subscribers. But I'm getting emails saying, I've subscribed, but it's not, I don't know, is this normal? I don't know. But please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the button, hit the likes, hit the bell, hit all that stuff all the kids are yapping about. Please do so. Do it immediately.
Do it now.
Exactly. When should I do it, Arnold?
Do it now.
Thank you. So, yeah, hook that up. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, with more of the same. But don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button. I see we're on 29 likes. Give me one more. Let's get to 30. Come on. What's wrong with you guys? Take half a second out of your incredibly busy day to go like this. Boop. All right, let's go through some of the chat here while we get towards the end of the show. Let's see what you guys have been yapping about while I was waxing with Mr. Ben Emlyn-Jones about all manners of ufological and stuff. There we go. We're up to 30. Thank you so much. You ever clicked that? I thank you. Let's see what we got on here. There you go. Firechild UK says, I can't take Cox seriously. I can't get over D-Ream. Scarred phone. Well, I don't know what that. I can't take him seriously either, but I don't know what the D-Ream is. I'm not sure what that is. Gary Newman says Brian Cox has been to Uranus many times. I bet he has. I'll bet he has, baby. Let's see what else is going on here. Andy Young says, "Hey Ben, at least you got a BS filter, unlike MJ." And a few others. I think I know who you mean by MJ, but I'm not going to mention the name. But yeah, Andy, I hear you. Let's see. Barry Crum says, Sir Roger Penrose from Oxford University would piss all over Brian Cox. Cox is a dingling to the old nuts and bolts paradigm. Quantum consciousness is the bleeding edge of their understanding of reality. Yeah, I would agree with you, Barry. I absolutely would. Let's see who else we got on here. Kevin Quinton says, "Thanks, Ben and Mindset G. You're quite welcome, Kevin. Hopefully you enjoyed that conversation. We're going to get Ben back on maybe next week. Hopefully he'll be a regular." I see there's a bunch of people asking to get Matthew Williams on the channel. I would absolutely love to have Matthew Williams on the channel. And when I'm done here, I might shoot him a quick message and ask him if he wants to come on maybe tomorrow's show. Just throwing that out there. If he's up and available, then yes, hopefully he'll come on tomorrow. But I'll message him once we get done here, and we'll see what happens. But no guarantees. Maybe he's out exploring or up to no good or sleeping. Who knows? But if he is conscious, awake, and at a computer at around 2:30 tomorrow, we'll see if we can get him on and have a chat with Matt tomorrow. So we'll see. But we'll see how that plays out. Let's see. Karen Hoyle says, "More coffee is required." Not anymore. I just played Marc Rebillet, so we don't have to be.
Good morning. How are you?
We don't have to do that anymore. Let's see. Simon Roundtree says, oh, hang on, I hit the wrong button. Simon Roundtree says 31. Okay, all right. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Let's see. There we go. Gary Newman says,
Do it now.
there you go, very good. That's what D-Realm is. So Simon Roundtree's clarified that Cox was a keyboard. He was in a fucking band. Are you kidding me? I had no idea. Are there videos of this thing, of this fool? I mean, I guess he's got like the kind of rock star haircut, from like the 90s or something. I didn't know he was in a band. Wow. Just when you think there couldn't be any more things to dislike him, you find out he's in a rock and roll band, baby. All right, we're rapidly approaching the end of the show. Once again, please subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit the button. Join us every day for coffee, talk, and all manner of nonsense. We're going to have some great discussions coming up. I think Percy's going to be joining me on Thursday. Friday is going to be Physical Media Friday, where I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff, physical media-wise, what we're going to talk about. It'll be great. So please subscribe to the channel so you'll know what's up and when it happens. Fingers crossed we can get Matt on tomorrow. I'll message him once we get done here, but we'll see. No promises. He might be busy. I don't know. But once again, guys, thank you so much for spending the morning with me. I wake up, I roll out of bed, I drag the comb across my head, and I sit down in front of a microphone and a camera, and I yap to you guys for an hour and a half. And it's only day 2, but so far I'm loving it. I'm really, really enjoying it. And I want to thank everyone for coming by today. It's always a pleasure. It's like, even though I'm not talking to you guys, it's like I'm talking to you. I get your comments. It's great, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm hoping to see you guys back here again tomorrow morning. So have a great day. If your day is just beginning, like mine is, have an awesome day. If it's afternoon where you are, have a great evening. And I will see you all tomorrow morning on Mindset Mornings. Goodbye.